Hi, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Not Aspirational. I'm your host, Hannah Aaron Brown. How's it going, everyone? You know, I once knew someone who, every time I ran into her, she would go, "Hey, dude. How's it going, dude?" And it came off as like so wildly condescending. It was like, "Hey, dude." And then I realized that was just how she talked. And, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" So today I say, with no condescension, obviously, "Hey, dude, how's it going? How are we all doing?" I move on Saturday. And can I just say, I am so excited to be removed from this narrative. Like, I know I said this last week, but I really can't get over it. It's been months and months of, like, I'm sick of myself. I'm sick of talking about it. Packing is so annoying. Like, every time I think I can't have more stuff, I somehow do. And I did post this to my Instagram story, but Labyrinth Hive, Rise Up. I want to talk about a little-known Jim Henson movie starring one David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly from 1986, 1985, 1988. I don't know. Little movie called Labyrinth. Okay. And in that movie, first of all, as a child, it was one of my favorite movies. I watched it 7 times in one day once. I don't know what that says about me. But there's a scene in that movie where there's this little junk lady. Like, she's a little puppet. She's so spooky. She kind of looks like a witch. And she has like trash piled on her, like a backpack. And Sarah, Jennifer Connelly's character, is like trying to escape the labyrinth, but the junk lady is like trying to like distract her and like keep her in. And so she's like showing her all this shit like that she knows is going to elicit like an emotional response, where she's like, "Oh, you got your little teddy bear. You remember your little teddy bear? Oh, here's a little dolly. You like your little dolly." And she's just piling all this shit in Sarah's lap. And then eventually, spoiler alert, but to be fair, you've had like almost 40 years to see this movie, Sarah goes, "It's all junk. It's all junk. I have to get my brother." And she like breaks a mirror and like runs through the mirror. Anyway, long story longer, every time I move, I think about that junk lady. Like, I go through all my stuff and I just imagine her being like, "Oh, Hannah, here's that note that you kept from 2012. You remember that note you kept from 2012? It makes me feel like a bit of a hoarder. But here's the thing, not to bring down the vibes, but like when your mom dies, when you're like in your formative years, you become wildly sentimental because you realize at a young age, we're all gonna die. Everyone's going to die. So every note, everything, every little sentimental piece of paper, note, receipt, picture, piece of string, it's in a baggie somewhere. And the amount of shit that I have to go through as a result is really fucking intense. Also, the thing that no one talks about is like when you're about to move, figuring out like how many groceries to buy. Because I love cooking. As we all know, maybe you don't, I don't know. This could be the first time you're listening to this show. I don't know. Okay. But I love to cook and I love like eating relatively healthy most of the time, but it becomes like this like fucked up like chop challenge where it's like trying to put together meals with like what I have left and trying not to buy too much stuff because like, of course we can just bring it to our new place, but like, I don't want to have to like lug a fridge full of food to my new place. Like I just don't. So then like assessing like, well, how many groceries should I get? And like, when should we go out to eat? And like going out to eat, like I always reach a point with going out to eat where it's like not fun anymore. Like I just feel like broke and inflamed and it's like not fun anymore. And I have gotten to that point, but it's just the logistics of moving are annoying. However, I think complaining is also annoying. So I wanted to end talking about moving on a high note, which is, it is such a glorious excuse to purge. And I think, hot take, purging your stuff at the beginning of the year makes more sense than purging it during spring cleaning. Because spring cleaning, it's already spring. We're all in a silly, goofy mood by spring. We don't want to be at home, like going through our crap. We want to be like out on a patio, like drinking a crispy Pilsner and making memories with our friends, you know? But in January, it's like, we're kind of tired from the holidays. We kind of want to cozy up and just like regroup and get back into our routines. So January is a gorgeous time to do a purge, and I highly, highly recommend it. And I have been as sentimental as I am, I've been fucking ruthless with this move. I've been brutal. I've been like, if this item is tied to someone who has wronged me in any way or who I just no longer fuck with, it's gone. It's gone. I want that energy away from me. I need a selenite wand to just like cut all these cords and just rid myself of all that old energy because we don't fucking need it. As sentimental as I am, I'm like, once you're gone, you're gone. Like, I don't want to look at something that reminds me of you. Not even because it's triggering, but just because it's like, I don't want it to take up like real estate in my house or in my heart or in my spirit or in my brain or in my life. So purging is a gorgeous thing. And that's been really, really nice. It's been feeling really, really good. I will also say on a personal note, not fully related to the move, I guess kind of related because like I said, I've been going out to eat a lot more. And I'd be lying if I said I've been in my routines or like not drinking excessively throughout this entire month. But I am so inflamed at this point. Like there's not enough turmeric in the fucking world. And like it's fine. Like bodies are amazing because they change all the time. They change every day. Okay. I was working out this morning. I was doing a little tone it up video first thing in the morning. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, hell yeah, abs are there. Abs are abbing. And then I realized they were like a little inflamed. And then I thought of Jax Taylor's abs in season 3 of Vanderpump Rules, where it's like you can see the shadows of his abs, but he's just like so inflamed from like all the like drugs and alcohol and like buffalo wings, like Hooters wings that he's eating, that it's just kind of like inflamed abs. And that's where I'm at currently. And that's fine. Like that's showbiz. It is what it is. But I'm like, what type of mental illness is it? And or what level of Bravo fan must you be when you clock your abs and you compare them to Jax Taylor? Like that, there's something to examine there. And I might have to bring it up with Dr. Doctor tonight, but also I'm quite frankly not really in the mood. I will say on another personal note, like I was saying, I've been imbibing a bit throughout this process. And one thing that Jake and I really like to do is get drunk on the couch and watch Traitors together. So last Thursday night we did that and I got a little too excited. I was having so much fun. So Friday I was a little hungover and I was like, I'm going to get a mani-pedi after work. I deserve this. I need this. And I tried out a new spot and it was a friend's recommendation. And I arrived, they had just opened a couple weeks ago. Everyone was so nice. There were so many nail polish colors that I was like a little bit overwhelmed, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do dark on my toes, which I always do. And then I'm going to do like kind of a clean, like nude pink on my fingers. But I didn't recognize any of the nail polish brands. Like there was not a Linkin Park After Dark, nary a ballet slipper or bubble bath in sight. Okay. So like I didn't fully know what I was dealing with, but I did my best. I sit in this chair. This chair is luxurious. I have one gal doing my fingers, one nail tech on my fingers, one on my toes. They are lovely. So lovely, so thorough. They put this like warm pillow around my neck. I'm like, this is incredible. And I'm so hungover and just overall, like in a broader sense, like so exhausted and like all over the place right now that I was like, holy shit. I felt like Annie. Like, I think I'm gonna like it here. And I did for the first like hour and 45 minutes. And it's fine that it took a long time. This is like the most first world problem of all time. No one did anything wrong except for me because I was hungover in this chair. And eventually I started getting like really, really hot. And also I started getting a headache. And like, that's what's fucked up about being hungover in your 30s is that it starts later sometimes. Like you'll think that you're totally fine. And then like 4:00 hits and you're like whacked in the face with a headache. And you're like, oh no, I thought I was in the clear. Like not now. So I'm in this chair and I suddenly get really, really hot and I have a horrible headache. And like I'm at the mercy of this manicure pedicure. Again, first world fucking problems. Punch me in the face. But I had only myself to blame. And so I was sitting in that chair, just like trying to sit still, and I'm getting gels and I'm trying not to like fuck them up as they go into the thing. I'm like, my energy is so frenetic. I felt so bad for the nail techs who had to deal with me. I just said thank you a million times and also thanked them with my tip. But like, I was not okay. I was fighting for my fucking life at this mani-pedi. And then I walked out to my car and I had a ticket. I had a fucking ticket. And I don't really know what the point was of telling that story. Just like, if you've ever fought for your life during a manicure pedicure and thought, I am such a fucking loser right now because I am so wildly privileged to be getting a manicure pedicure. And at the same time, I need to get the fuck out of this chair and chug water and an Advil ass app. Otherwise, I might die. If you know what that feels like, please DM me and let me know because I know it's not a likable story, but I cannot be the only one who's been in this position before. Moving along. I did a very adult thing over the weekend. In stark contrast to the story I just told you, I did a very adult thing over the weekend, and that is, drumroll please, I got an Architectural Digest subscription for a year, both digital and print. And I'm so excited. I have never, in my 34 and a half years of living, because that's how adults describe their age, in my 34 and a half years of living, I've never purchased a magazine subscription because in my head, it's like $200 a year. I don't know why I thought that, but like one of my favorite things in this world is like going to an airport and getting a thick ass magazine and just like looking at all the pretty pictures. And as a kid, I mean, that was my favorite thing. I would go to this place in downtown Highland Park with my friends and just like drink sodas and look at magazines. Like magazine culture is so important to us millennial girlies. And I just never really took it upon myself to even investigate what a subscription would look like because I was just like, I don't need to. I can't afford it. Well, Architectural Digest, I think for a year is like $20 for the first year, and then I think it goes up to $30 the second year. But they do like some of them. I've been looking into this. Like Cosmopolitan only does quarterly issues now, which is so devastating. All the more reason to become a Cosmopolitan subscriber because we have to save physical media and print. But Architectural Digest does it every month, which is really, really exciting. So I cannot wait to receive my AD tote bag, which is complimentary with purchase. And then my first issue. Like, I just want to look through this magazine with beautiful interiors and keep stacks of them around my house in a decorative sort of sense because I think that's chic as fuck. And use those magazines to inspire me and, you know, help me manifest this next home that we're going to be in, like the one that we're about to move into, and many homes after that. And I love looking at pretty things, whether it's clothes or decor. I truly can't get enough. So let this be your sign to get yourself a magazine subscription. It is like a really low lift way to treat yourself. It's like a little present you can give yourself every month. And again, you're doing a good thing because AI and tech is taking over the world and we need to save physical media. Okay. Next thing I want to bring up is really important. And it's that I want to bring back the word Jagoffs, or not even bring it back because I don't know. And there's a certain age group of like Midwestern and East Coast people who the word Jagoff never left their vocabulary, but it's never fully made its way into mine. And for those of you who have never heard of that word, because I believe it is kind of a regionalism, don't worry, I have the definition right here. A Jagoff is, it's so funny going to Google and being like, define Jagoff. A Jagoff is a slang term, particularly in Western Pennsylvania and Chicago, for an annoying, irritating, or contemptible person. But it can also be used affectionately or sarcastically in Pittsburgh. In the military context, it's a derogatory term for a judge, advocate general, a JAG, officer seen as prioritizing personal gain over warfighters. So really, in general, it kind of is a slang term for someone like foolish, unpleasant, or deserving of scorn. Or in Chicago, a mild insult for a disliked person. And I know it, like, Jeff Brown loves the word jagoff. My dad, like, growing up, if someone, like, cut him off in traffic, he'd be like, you jagoff! Like, you know, it feels very good to say. And I was just thinking, you know, last week I was saying we should start calling people bucko again. And this week, I just want to say, like, let's start calling people jagoffs. Like, it's really funny. Also, another funny thing you can do is, like, let's say you're, like, leaving a party, you can go, see you later, jagoffs, and do it in, like, a cute way. Like, bye, jagoffs. And that's in the aforementioned, like, sarcastic sort of sense of the word. But God, it feels good to say, you fucking jagoff. You jagoff. Oh, feels nice. Give it a try. It feels good. And I think, like I said last week, coming up with creative ways to stick it to people verbally is important to me, especially in this day and age and in this climate. So when in doubt, just call someone a jagoff. It feels good. Next thing is, speaking of people who are disliked, I'm disliked. By who, you might ask? I mean, I'm sure by a lot of people, but specifically the Song Sung Blue Hive. I poked the Song Sung Blue Hive in a way that I never could have imagined. Like, you have, like, the Beehive and Swifties, like, neck and neck right here. And then you have the Song Sung Blue Hive over them as far as, like, who's the most aggro. I had no idea how fucking angry people would get. I had like a tertiary person that I worked on like a commercial with many years ago in my comments being like, I had a small role in this movie and it's a very tender story. And I was like, oh my God. Then I had like maybe the writer, maybe the director, someone who worked on the movie, like kind of making a joke, which is fine. We had a cute little moment. Then I had many people being like, your rotten opinions aren't welcome on the internet. They're local legends. Like I had a lot of people really fucking mad at me. And then I had Lightning and Thunder. That is the actual Song Sung Blue couple. I had their kids in my comments being like, LOL, they're our parents. Like, and they had a good sense of humor about it. Like the daughter was like, the only person who's allowed to be mad at you is me and my brother. And I was like, and you're allowed. But I've been pressured so much by people to now like go see Song Sung Blue and like watch the documentary to like make a real opinion. And I want to, like, I genuinely want to, but like, will I do it anytime soon? Probably not. Probably not. Like, it's not like top of my list right now. And I'm so behind of like on Bravo, like in the grand scheme of programming that I need to get caught up on. Song Sung Blue isn't really up there, but I will say I learned an important lesson, which is you should see a movie before you talk shit about it on the internet. And then I kind of like, every time this happens, because like, I'm not going to sit here and say that this hasn't happened before. Like I posted a clip of like me talking about Janet from the Valley, got back to Janet, posted a clip of me talking about West, it got back to West. For what it's worth, I do not sit here trying to like start shit. Like being like messy isn't like a calculated part of my brand. I don't mean to do it. Here's where I struggle. I am a nice person, but I'm also an opinionated person, and I have a hard time shutting the fuck up. And when I think something is funny, I'm kind of like a dog with a bone with it. And I think the things I say are like relatively innocuous and not a big deal, but then people see them and they get very, very sensitive. Okay. And where I struggle with this is I was thinking about like that Tina Fey quote that she said on Las Culturistas that's like, authenticity is expensive and dangerous. And to be fair, she was specific. She was like, Matt, you have like a year until you're too famous to have an opinion. And here's where I struggle as like a smaller, in the grand scheme of content creators, I'm micro, I'm small. But here's where I struggle is like, would Joan Rivers be Joan Rivers if she was just like, everyone's pretty and everyone's perfect and sunshine and jelly beans and rainbows? Like, you have to have an opinion to really do anything, but especially to be funny. And I'm not like, again, like I never set out to say something that I think is offensive. I obviously would not post a clip on the internet if I thought I had taken it too far. And like taking it too far is in the eye of the beholder, you know? But like, I'm like, I have to have an opinion as a pop culture like commentator who also wants to be an entertainment. And I'm still in real time figuring out like what the line looks like and like how far is too far for me personally. And I do feel like it shifts and it changes. And I never want to like go back on something I said just because I'm like scared. But I'm also always open to like looking at something a different way or like, you know, seeing it from someone else's perspective. So like I'm figuring this all out in real time. But like something else I've learned is, well, okay, so yeah, to double down on the first thing I said, I have to have an opinion. Otherwise I would not be an entertaining person. And I dream of being an entertainer. Second thing I've learned is there is like Tina Fey said, there's a level of fame where you are like in it, like you are going to the parties, you're up for the parts, you're in the same rooms as like the heavyweight people in this industry. And then there's like pop culture commentators. And I think there's like a bunch of different levels of those. But what I've learned in the pop culture commentator space is like, if you're well known and you have a take, it's like kind of okay. Like other famous people, if they think you're famous, they'll be like, oh my God, that's so funny and cute that you like made fun of me. But if it's a smaller creator like me, they'll be like, oh my God, who is this like thirsty random bitch like trying to get clicks? And that doesn't sit well with me. And I guess while Lightning and Thunder of Song Sung Blue didn't do anything wrong, it was less of a comment on them. I'm sorry, I don't like, and this is the other thing is I get so fucking emotional and like I sound like more heated than I even realize I am, but I am passionate. Okay, whatever. You all know my dad at this point. Okay, I come by it honestly, but I wasn't making a comment on like Lightning and Thunder being like wastes of space. I don't know anything about them. I was making a comment on like how Hollywood at large seems to check these very obvious boxes when it comes to what movies get made. And I think out of all the stories that can be made, that one has already been told. It has an award-winning documentary. Like, why did we need that budget for that piece of media? Why can't we get some like stories that have never been told from people who are completely unknown? Like, why can't those stories get like funding and like widespread theatrical releases and attention? That's where I'm coming from. I'm also biased because like I'm a writer and I'm an actor and I'm not known and I want those opportunities. So like, yeah, like selfishly, I would love the industry to like move in that direction, which again, we saw with Heated Rivalry, whatever. I'm beating the same drum as I did last week. But as far as like other videos I've made that have gotten me in trouble, my thing is just like when I see someone be, for lack of a better term, a jagoff, I'm allowed to have like an opinion about that. If I think someone does something jagoffy or jagoff adjacent, whether it's a misunderstanding or not, I'm open to that. I'm allowed to have an opinion and a comment on it because I'm a pop culture commentator. I don't know why I went on that tangent. I've really been like, I mean, again, like I'm with Dr. Doctor. I'm talking to her in an hour and a half. I've really been like peeling back the layers of like my own like morality and like where I feel like things are okay and when they're not. But the biggest double standard that I will never not be pissed off by is that like more famous people can get away with more or like intimidate smaller creators to like change their tune or like take something down. And that does bother me because it's like, we're all just trying to get our shit out there. We're trying to build something out of nothing. I have to have an opinion because otherwise, why the fuck am I doing this for? It's not fun for me and it's not fun for anyone else. You know what I mean? What else was I going to say? Oh, speaking of jagoffs though. Okay. So all of that said, we're going to get into pop culture now. I was deciding on if I wanted to comment on this or not because I get kind of scared. And I think the thing is, I'm going to be careful with what I make into social media clips or not because I've realized people, even if you think they're famous, they're lurking. Okay, they're looking through the hashtags. They're looking through the shit. They want to know what people are saying about them. Could never be me, but people do it. Okay, so be cool. Don't be all uncool. Keep this in our little, you know, our little circle here, a little not aspirational hive. And yeah, so I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up. All that said, but I have to. Natalie from the Viall Files needs to stop exhibiting jagoff behavior. Like, she has to be stopped. She cannot keep getting away with this. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, she interviewed my baby girl, Miss Shayla Austin Kroll, a couple weeks ago on the Viall Files, and she was wildly insensitive about the passing of his older sister when he was a kid. It was so gross. Like, the way she talked about it was so gross. Then I see this clip on TikTok that really made me crash out. I said that is a fuck enough. In the immortal words of Danielle Staub, that's a fuck enough. I was so pissed. Listen to this.
You look like a woman from the 50s.
Sure.
It is extra flippy. I carry it.
It's like they all.
You also got a haircut. I did. That's crazy that you went from like, yeah, let me chop my hair off, and like, oh, I also need a Dyson Airwrap to curl this short hair. Yeah, I was honest, I don't know how many people look good with a Dyson Airwrap short bob. I don't know. And maybe it's just because I don't know how to do it.
No, that's exactly where I went wrong.
Yeah, that was a crazy decision.
Are you?
You look like a woman from the
I mean, she just kept going and going and going. Like, yeah, and I just don't know why. And that's what she did with Austin too, talking about his sister. She was like, and I just don't, and like, and you can see this like gleeful look on her face, like as she just rips this girl, Leia, on the show apart, like insulting her hair and putting her down. And Leia's just sitting there and taking it. And it like made my heart hurt on like a deep level because I remember, honestly, I think Natalie like exhibits jagoff behavior and she seems like mentally and emotionally in like 8th grade. Like she exhibits such like severe 8th grade mean girl behavior, which is like really fucking embarrassing because even though compared to Nick, she's like a child bride, she is much too old to be acting this way. Okay. She's fucking 27 years old. She has a child. Like, oh my God. Prayers for that child. I hope they overcome the example she's setting for them. But like, I remember being in 7th grade and having a bully who was like, quote, my friend. And she would always say the nastiest shit to me under the guise of like, oh, well, I'm telling you this because I'm your friend. Like, oh, well, everyone thinks you got fat, but like, I'm telling you this because I'm your friend. And I remember just sitting there and being like, oh, okay, thank you for telling me. And like it hitting me like a gut punch. So I'm watching this woman, Leia, like hear Natalie talk shit about her haircut and the way she styled it nonstop for like 45 seconds on a podcast in a room full of other people. I was just like, you are an asshole. That is so fucking rude. And she needs to be stopped. And I can't imagine marrying Nick Viall, I mean, period. But I can't imagine marrying Nick Viall, marrying into this career and failing up so extremely and then fumbling so badly. Like, if this is what she's like on the mic, what is she like off the mic? And this is not me saying that Nick Viall is an innocent man, okay? I could go on and on about him. But right now, what we're talking about Natalie, because what I have seen her say in the last couple of weeks is insane. Now, I will say, because I've seen her videos, now I'm getting targeted with more. And, algorithms are fucked up like that. And I do see this one account constantly posting videos about her. And I'm like, okay, well, that's also a bit weird. Like, I think both things can be true. I'm like, yeah, this person is highlighting things that actually did come out of Natalie's mouth. But also this person has like an entire spam account devoted to the takedown of Nick and Natalie. And I'm like, that's a bit weird. No, that's a little much. I think we can maybe fill our time with other things. But I think that Jagoff behavior needs to stop. I think it needs to stop. I think she needs to be called out. All I've seen so far is her like limiting comments, but like who the fuck cares if you're not willing to like learn from your own behavior and try and just be like a better person, like not even just a podcast host. Like that is just so nasty. Natalie, don't piss me off, okay? Too late. Moving right along, Traitors. Traitors is delivering this season. I mean, listen, again, I watched it hammered, so it's like I'd be lying if I said I had a million details to share. I will say the way Michael Rappaport shovels food off his plate into his mouth is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. I think he needs to go straight to the electric chair, and I need to go on a grippy sock vacation for that, because that has fucked me up mentally. I mean, I'll never be able to get that image out of my head. And I mean, can you imagine? This is terrifying. Can you imagine being eliminated from Traitors just because like everyone fucking hates you? Like, they really don't have any actual reason to believe he's a traitor. They were just like, God, you're a fucking horrible hang. Get out. Get out of the castle. Out of the castle. I literally can't imagine. I mean, I guess, like, I can if I'm Michael Rappaport, because, like, Michael Rappaport is, like, very insufferable. But, like, I can't imagine everyone just at a round table, like, ripping me a new asshole. And I actually played Traitors Express on the I Am the Cute One podcast Patreon, like, last week. And I was so fucking quiet during that round table because I am non-confrontational. And I don't like people being mad at me. And, again, this is why, like, I got to be careful about what I post on the internet, because I don't actually like being in fights with people. I just like having an opinion and then fucking off, okay? So I could never be on Traitors, but the way they all just dogpiled on Michael Rappaport and they were just like, you suck. And then they eliminated him and he was a faithful and they were like, oh, okay. Well. Like normally they feel so bad if they eliminate a faithful, but they were like, nah, yeah, well, shit happens. Bye. Goodbye. Everyone's on to Rinna. I think Rinna's doing too much and I was worried about this. I was worried that she would fall into sort of like the Bob the Drag Queen trap of like doing too much to overcompensate for being a traitor. I think she's going to be the next to go. I think they're going to figure her out this week. But God, by the way, Rob from Love Island, have never looked twice at that man. Have honestly been quite literally repelled by that man many times. And we all know my picker isn't great, okay? I have some questionable crushes. We all know it. Would I ever be in love with a man who wrangles snakes and wears overalls topless? No. But Rob on Traitors is doing something very unexpected for me. He's doing a lot. And I love to see it. I'm having so much fun watching him. I could watch him all day. Oh, also Colton Underwood's a freak and he should be eliminated. He's a Jagoff and he should be deplatformed along with Natalie Viall. Like, I've had enough of those two. I've had enough of those beasts, okay? But yeah, Traitors is good. If you're not watching it, tune in because we're having a good time. Okay. Bravo adjacent. This video of Ben Affleck came out. I feel like every podcaster has talked about this at this point, but I do feel like I have special business talking about it because we all know Ben Affleck and I are lovers. So Ben Affleck was being interviewed. Him and Matt Damon are doing a press tour for their new movie, The Rip, which I have not had the pleasure of watching yet in all the moving madness, but I am so excited to be cozied up in my new place. on my sectional under a cozy blanket and watch like all 3 hours of it. It's going to be delicious. But he was interviewed by this, I believe it was Access Hollywood, this queen reporter who was asking the hard-hitting questions, a journalist, a woman in STEM, one might say. She was like, Ben Affleck, do you know who Lisa Barlow is? And he was like super cute about it. Like he was super sweet. He was like, I don't want to be rude. I don't recognize this person. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I don't. And he was looking good. Oh, he was looking fucking good, okay? When Ben Affleck is off the sauce, he's hydrating, you know, he's getting his facial. Oof. He looks fucking good as hell, okay? Gnawing at the bars of my enclosure. But yeah, he was very politely and graciously like, super sorry. I don't believe I know her. Don't want to get her in trouble. Don't want to start drama. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question. And I was like, you're so sweet for that, babe. I was like, that was cool of you. That was cool of you because he gave us just enough tea for us to have a little internet giggle together, like hee hee hee. But he also was like, I could be wrong. I meet a lot of people. I don't know. And I was like, my diplomatic baby doing the most without doing too much. You know what I mean? Ugh. I cannot wait to watch that movie and report back. I'm so excited. And this press tour, I mean, it's really just the gift that keeps on giving. And that's a good reminder for us all that I have not watched Armageddon in like 6 months. I'm well overdue for an Armageddon rewatch. Thank you so much for reminding me. I actually was thinking about this in the car the other day. This is going to be like, this is a vulnerable moment. This is really something that a Leo and or someone who is really hoping someday she'll be like successful in the entertainment space thinks about when she's alone in her car. I thought about someone interviewing me and asking me, Hannah, what's your favorite comfort movie? And me saying, oh, that's easy, Bounce, starring Ben Affleck and Gwyneth Paltrow. Because I don't know anyone else who would answer that way. And I have a lot of comfort movies, but I find Bounce, mind you, I've only seen it once, but I've been dying to rewatch that too. I found that movie to be, I've said this on the podcast before, but it bears repeating. I find that movie to be such a gorgeous ride. And I really do want nothing more right here, right now in this moment than to get a spray tan. That has nothing to do with anything. I just really want one. Put on an all baggy black outfit so it doesn't transfer and I'm very comfy. And get under a cotton quilt and light a candle, preferably from the brand Color Los Angeles, either the yellow candle or the hot pink candle, because those were the candles that I lit the first time I watched all these Ben Affleck movies. Like when I was deep in my Ben Affleck obsession, I was just lighting those two candles, the pink and the yellow from Color Los Angeles. I'll link them in the show notes. I just want to light one of those candles and just watch Bounce because he's so hot and he's so good. And Gwyneth Paltrow is like just annoying enough that you can make fun of her, but also like good and beautiful. And I'm like, I just want to be able to publicly say on a large public stage, because I want people to give a shit enough about what I'm saying and what my answers are, that it could get picked up and it could get back to Ben. I want to say that my comfort movie is Bounce. And someday, because we're dreaming big over here, okay? I have an Architectural Digest subscription now. Nothing can fucking stop me. I do dream one day of this half-bit but half-honest Ben Affleck obsession. I dream that someday I'm in the same space as him and it's sort of this like cute little internet joke and I will be famous enough that he won't be afraid of me. He'll be like, oh no, I've heard of you. It's so nice to meet you. And we can have a cute little like moment where we meet each other and someone will like get a picture of it because like I'm going to need a picture of it, but it'll be like a cute candid one where we both look great. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about me. And it'll be like a full circle moment. I do dream of that. I do. Enough about me. Kyle and Amanda broke up. Imagine me on Saturday sweating, lugging my shit from this house to my new one. And then I get on Instagram during one of 50 car rides we took that day to and from our prospective residences and seeing the news that Kyle and Amanda broke up. And I'm like, here's my surprise face. I said this a while ago. Here's what bothers me about it. Okay, first of all, good for them. Good for them. Also, though, I don't appreciate the like little bit of like Amanda's in a doghouse being like, I'm in my new home. Like I felt like they were poking fun at the internet for speculating for all these months. And then they're like, so we made the tough decision to split up. And I'm like, we fucking know. We know. And yes, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Amanda because I think woman to woman, she's about to have the glow up of her life, not physically, but like spiritually and emotionally. Because I can only imagine that being married to Kyle and being with him for all this time took a lot out of her. The like lack of trust and the clashing of their lifestyles. Like it must have been really, really exhausting. So like happy for her. She's about to have a lot of fun. I'm also selfishly very excited to see their marriage disintegrate on the show. It's also Tom and Katie coded. Like we've seen this film before and we did like the ending. So I'm excited to see it all play out on TV, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, no, what? Oh my God. When it's like, we've been knowing, like we've been speculating for months. Again, at BravoCon, they were not spotted together once, anywhere. So it's like, happy for them, excited. Also, like, I understand that like the announcement can be shocking and startling. I am saying though, after I've had like a couple days to digest it, I'm also like, okay, but why the fuck did you guys like jerk us around for months and like troll us with your little bits on the internet when you knew for months that you were going to announce this? Like, I don't like to be made to feel foolish when I am right. You know what I mean? It's also not that deep, but yeah, I'm excited to see where things go. I think the timing of this is very intentional because Summer House starts in like a month. So like, I also understand from a PR standpoint, they gotta play this right, plant the seed so that it's, it works out well for both of them. Do I think that, okay, so then they're gonna have that New York spinoff. I was gonna say, do I think that Amanda and her dating life are gonna be like wildly entertaining on the spinoff? My instinct is to be like, no. I think while Amanda is very fashion and very like gorgeous, I think a lot of like her like quote entertaining moments on the show involve like her toxicity with Kyle and them like fighting. So like there is part of me that's like, okay, like what's she gonna bring outside of that? Because we need more. But then the positive side of that makes me sound like less of a rancid bitch is like, what is she going to bring outside of that? Like there could be a whole other Amanda that we have never gotten to know because she's been like weighed down by Kyle and his bullshit. So in that way, I'm really excited to like get to know her as a viewer, like with Kyle, like not in her orbit, like with her as a separate entity. She's going to serve looks. She always does. But like, I hope that there's like a levity and a lightness to her without the dark cloud of like issues with Kyle kind of holding her back. So I'm excited to get reacquainted to Amanda. I think it'll be great TV. Last thing I want to bring up before we get into grow up is I fell down the most glorious TikTok rabbit hole, which is the UDA Nationals. Is it UDA or UDAs? It's got to be UDA, right? The United Dance Academy or something, United Dance Association. I'm sorry. I'm not claiming to be an authority here. I'm saying the algorithm said, would you like to see dance videos from UDA Nationals? And I said, yes, I would. And then they started giving me more and more and more. And that is when the algorithm's at its best because I was like, give me more. I could not get enough. I love watching competitive dance. I wish that I was a dancer so fucking bad. I think dance is just like the coolest art form. And I think people who are good at dancing are like such baddies inherently. So my first thing I'm going to say is we need a reality show because apparently there's all this like behind the scenes lore of like people stealing choreo from other choreographers having beef, different universities having beef, certain universities like University of Minnesota, like being snubbed for the last few years because they won like 7 years in a row, like all these politics. Okay. And I'm like, we need it. We need Netflix and a camera or whatever streamer wants to pick it up. But because of Cheer, I'm leaning Netflix. Okay. We need a reality show. So I watched so many routines from UDA Nationals and I got so emotionally invested in all of them. And I highly recommend if you haven't explored this yet and you have a TikTok account, I'm sure it's on Instagram Reels too, but I haven't investigated. Just look up UDA Nationals. Some of my favorite routines were LSU's hip hop routine. It was crazy. They did the Kendrick Lamar like mashup from the Super Bowl. It was so fucking good. And they got second. UNLV got first. Now UNLV, their routine was really fucking sick. And there were a lot of people in the comments being like, this is like classic hip hop. Like this is hip hop. And I'm like, I'm not an authority. I don't know hip hop from hip hop. All I'm saying is the LSU girls, I have watched that routine no less than 25 times. I feel so alive watching them perform. I've never seen a cooler group of girls in my entire fucking life. They crushed it. Now, the UNLV routine was objectively, I think, I don't even want to say harder. I think it was like, it had more like wow moments of like, this person did like they had like 3 guys do like these huge backflips in a row. Like they had a lot of like aerial stunts, like lots of really cool, crazy shit going on. And they executed it seamlessly. So like, I do understand why they won. But the LSU girls, they have my heart, baby. They have my heart. Now we have to talk about jazz. Okay. So jazz, as I said, we had Minnesota. They used to win all the time. And then the last few years, they stopped winning. And people are saying it's because people were like, it's not fair that Minnesota always wins. So this year, their routine was to the song, Maybe This Time. What's that from? Cabaret? It's gonna happen. I don't know all the words. I'm not a cabaret head. But they crushed it. Their turns were like butter. Okay, and then, by the way, then there's all these people arguing on TikTok over like, this team had like flat-footed turns and this team had proper turns with an arch and like this team shouldn't have won because they're shitty flat-footed turns and this team should have. And I'm like, I'm just like eating up all this dancer drama. I'm like, give it to me because it makes me feel like I'm a dancer even though I'm not. Do you think I could have been decent if I didn't like give up when I was like 9? But I guess that's true of like anyone. Anyways, it's a secret dream to get back into dance class, but this year is the year I commit myself to bowling, so I already have enough going on. Again, enough about me. So Minnesota did this routine, this kind of like petty routine to Maybe This Time. And I think the song was like perfect. I love just like a little splash of pettiness in my coffee every morning. And they executed it perfectly. Then we have Ohio State, who won. Okay. And they performed to the song Berghain, the Rosalia song. That's like, and it's, I mean, I fucking love that song. And the routine was sick. And there was a TikTok where like up close, you could see their facials. I love all the ones like I was watching the like wide version so you could see all like the whole routine like at once. But then I love the up close versions because you see their facials and they were all fucking bringing it with the facials. So Ohio State crushed and they won. And some people were saying the routine was a bit sloppy. I disagree. I think it was purposely kind of like avant-garde and weird. And other people are saying like Minnesota's more like traditional jazz and Ohio State did something a little more like out there and different. Again, I'm not a dancer, so I don't fucking know. I am saying I'm 50-50 on those. I couldn't pick a winner. I loved them both so much in different ways. But God, they were so good. And then hearing the audience like erupt when the girls would like stick the landing on something insane. It was a rush. It was a thrill. I really needed this. And then also, University of Michigan did a routine to Ramalama Bang Bang. I fucking love that song. And they did a good job too. It was a really cool routine. I love a routine where like they get a little weird and ugly. Like I love just kind of an edgy, like just like kind of fucked up choreo. And then moments that are like super fluid and like ethereal. I love like the juxtaposition of that. It's just like, give me more. And then LSU did Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again for jazz. And I believe, did they get first? They were in the top 3, I think. Sorry to misreport. Again, I'm not an authority. I'm just passionate. But they crushed as well. And I will say, I love Britney Spears. The song didn't do it for me as much as the other song choices, but like they were objectively amazing and the choreo was fantastic. So I hope we someday get that reality show. But if you haven't watched, like you are missing out. Just like give yourself the gift of just falling down this TikTok rabbit hole and looking up UDA nationals. Okay, finally to close out, we got grow up. First one, not being a good communicator on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, grow up. With the move, we've been selling a lot of shit on Facebook Marketplace and also purchasing things on Facebook Marketplace. And a couple weeks ago, I drove all the way to Beverly Hills on a Friday in traffic to pick up a really cool vanity mirror. Well, I sit outside and I like get there and I go, I'm here. Nothing. I wait for 20 minutes. Don't hear from anyone. And we had like confirmed the day and the time. So then I sit in an hour of traffic home without my mirror. And I said, you know what? I got a fucking enough. I said, I headed home, but you really just, so you know, you really shouldn't waste people's time if you're not serious about going through with the sale. And she was like, oh my God, my roommate was supposed to handle this for me. Like, I just can't believe it. Like, I was like, when the fuck did you bring up your roommate to me? You didn't give me your roommate's number. Like, why would I know that? I don't really give a fuck why I didn't get the mirror. The point is you wasted 2 hours of my time. And I was on my period, so I like wasn't feeling well, and I like felt like I was gonna puke. And I was like going up this winding road from like Beverly Hills into where I live into the valley, and I was just like, ah! So if you are doing transactions on Facebook Marketplace, grow up. Be organized, be mindful, be conscientious of people and their time and their energy. If you say you're going to do something, just fucking do it. Okay. And then the last thing is Apple, the brand Apple. Grow up. Stop hounding me to update my devices. I never want to update my devices. I don't. Because every time I update my devices, you fuck my life up. You redo things, you reconfigure things in a way that makes no sense and was completely uncalled for, and it was perfectly fine before, but they're like, you want to update? Do you want to update? Hey, it's time for an update. You want to do this tonight? Oh, we'll get back to you tomorrow. You want to do this tomorrow? And I just put it off and off and off until Apple strong arms me into it. And I want to say, Apple, grow the fuck up. I'm not interested in your updates. I, unfortunately, am tethered to your products. I rely on them big time for my life, but don't make them more complicated than they have to be. Stop asking me to update my Apple Watch or my phone or my computer. I don't want to. Grow up. Wow. That was good. I really thought this episode was only going to be like 20 minutes long, but then I went on, many a tangent. And I love you all for being in this with me. I love you all for listening. Thank you so, so much for being here. I realize this is like a bit of a crash out week, and I hope that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm chaotic this week. What else is new? I do, however, have a few pod appearances coming up. So keep an eye out and watch this space. And I also have some really exciting guests coming on the show in these coming weeks. So again, keep an eye out and watch this space. Also, if you're listening to this, just so you know, you can watch full episodes on YouTube. If you like this episode, send it to a friend. Leave a rating and a review. Follow me on Instagram at Hannah Aaron Brown if you don't already, or TikTok. Oh, and also, if you're in LA on February 27th, come check out the live reading of a pilot I was cast in called Rock Blocked. Link to RSVP in the show notes. Thank you all so much for listening. I love you, and I will see you soon. Oh my God, from my new place. The next time I record, I will be in my new place. That is so crazy. Okay, love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.